Fear is free. You don't have to sign up for it, work for it, or even invite it in. It just shows up unannounced, uninvited, and unrelenting. But courage, courage costs you something. It takes action, it takes investment, it takes moving when you don't feel ready. The real question is, are you willing to pay the price of courage, or are you going to settle for the freebie of fear? Hey, friend, I'm Ruth Jones, and welcome to Transition Tuesdays, where we talk about faith, change, and the courage to step into what's next. Now, if you've ever felt the gap between what you know you should do and what you're afraid to do, then this episode is for you. Today, we're talking about how to move past fear and into your purpose. Now, let me tell you why this matters, because I've had to live it. I've learned the hard way that fear will keep you stuck for free, while courage is the only currency that moves you forward. Maybe you're watching today and you're on the brink of something new with a knot in your stomach and a million questions in your head. It could be a new relationship, a new creative project, or even a tough conversation that you know you need to have. But the opportunity is here, but so is the fear. It's a quiet whisper that says, what if it doesn't work out? It's so easy to listen to that voice. After all, fear is free. It doesn't demand anything of you except for you to stay right where you're at. But the alternative, the life giving kind, the faith affirming alternative, it requires something more. It requires courage. And courage isn't free. Courage takes action. Now, I'll be honest, I've had my own share of moments where fear tried to become my roommate. I can remember sitting on the brink of writing my first book, Living the Sweet Life, and I had been meditating on this idea for months. I could picture the cover in my mind. I could see people going to the bookstore, wanting to find my book and purchase my book and help them with their search for joy and meaning in their life. But then fear, it started whispering. What if it fails? What if no one buys it? What if people think it's silly? What if I put my heart and my soul into this book and it's sitting on a shelf and it's rejected? So guess what happened? I froze for months. For months, I collected notes, ideas, I read articles, I studied, I prepared. But the truth was, I was preparing, but I wasn't writing. Fear had me paralyzed. And here's the thing about fear, it's sneaky. It disguises itself as wisdom. Take your time, do more research, wait until you're ready. But you're never really ready. And at some point, I had to choose. I had to let go of the need for guarantee, a need for approval, and lean into the God who gives me purpose. It was a choice I had to make to stop analyzing the what ifs and start trusting the He is. It was time to choose action over fear. So I started setting my alarm for 5 a.m. I started getting up every morning to write. And I would write, whether it was a sentence, a paragraph, 5,000 words. At first, it felt like pulling teeth. But every morning, the jar of courage, it was done. I was moving by courage. And let me tell you, when I got that book done, the victory was so sweet. When I clicked publish, that was courage in action. And guess what? The ripple effects came. Emails, texts, reviews, people tell me how the book shifted their life. One woman bought a copy and she said she was reading it, but then her dad saw it and he started reading it. And every day he took it with him to chemotherapy. He was not only willing to just read it, he sent me a testimonial, said it blessed his life. It gave him hope in the hardest times. See, fear didn't write that book. Fear doesn't create testimonies. Fear doesn't change lives. Courage does. Now, that moment taught me three powerful truths about moving from fear to courage. And I want to share these with you today. So, the first truth is to stop confusing caution with calling. See, fear often masquerades as wisdom. It's easy to tell yourself, well, I'm being careful, or I'm praying about it, when you're actually just avoiding the scary step. See, God doesn't give us a spirit of fear, but He says He gives us power, love, and a sound mind, or that means self-discipline. So it's time to ask yourself honestly, is this God's wisdom to wait, or is this fear's comfort zone? The second thing, Practice small acts of courage. You don't have to conquer the whole mountain all at once. Just like building a muscle, courage is built through repetition. It's a series of small intentional choices that you make every day, whether that's making a difficult phone call, whether that's sending the email you know you've been procrastinating on, or writing just down your dream. Each tiny step is a victory that builds that muscle of courage. The third thing I want you to remember is that remember your story is your strategy. In moments of fear, we often forget where God has already brought us from. Your testimony isn't just a story to tell, it's a blueprint for your future. Think back to a time where you know God brought you out of a situation. That same God who was faithful then is faithful to you now. Don't let the fear of a new wilderness blind you to the memory of the last one that God brought you through. Your promised land is waiting for you on the other side of your courageous yes and your first step. Hey, friends, this is what I want you to hear today. If you hear nothing else, fear will always want you to believe you're not ready, you're not strong enough, you're not equipped. But the truth is, God doesn't call the equipped, He equips the called. You don't have to wait for fear to leave you before you move on. You got to just take that step of faith, even with weak, shaking knees. So here's what I want you to take home with you. Fear Fear is always free. It will cost you nothing up front, but it will rob you of everything in the long run. Purpose, progress, impact, joy, courage, that's always going to cost you something. Energy, time, reputation, maybe even sleep, but it pays back more than it takes. So I want you to think about your life. What's the last big step that you've been avoiding because of fear? Is it starting that business? Is it having a conversation, going back to school, applying for a job? Fear will gladly keep you in the same place a year from now. But courage will move you. It will stretch you. It will shape you into someone you can be proud of. And here's the encouragement. God never calls us to pay for courage with empty hands. No, He tells us in Joshua 1 and 9, be strong, be courageous, don't be afraid, don't be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. He supplies the courage. Courage, it's costly, yes, but God makes the down payment. He's before you, He's with you, He equips you, He goes before you. So when you drop something in that courage jar, when you take that step, when you make that call, when you write that first page, you're not doing it alone. Heaven is backing you, my friend. I want you to make a bold move this week. I've made it real simple for you. I'm going to give you an acronym and this is going to really encourage you and something that you can remember. It's an acronym that spells the word JAR. And if you do these three things this week, I promise you, you will move from fear to bold, courageous action. So the J in the jar, it stands for journal. I want you to pull out your journal and I want you to identify one fear that's been holding you back. I want you to write it down and I want you to give it a name. That's going to take the power away from that fear. Now, the second thing I want you to do is the A. The A stands for act. Choose one small, courageous action that you will take this week to confront that fear and to do it. And I want you to do it this week. Now, the last thing is the R. The R stands for remember. I want you to look back at your past victories and list them. Remind yourself of God's faithfulness. And then when fear tries to speak, I want you to remind it, no, this same God that did all these things in the list, He's the one that goes before me and He will do it again. Friends, don't let fear, the freebie of fear, keep you from your future. God is trying to deliver you to your doorstep because fear, it's free. But courage takes action. And courage, it changes everything. So today, drop something in the jar of courage. Choose courageous action this week. Friends, I hope this message encouraged you. I hope you're going to do that courageous action, the JAR, and commit to it this week. I want you to please tell me in the comments what courageous action you're going to take this week. I want to pray over it. I want to be your accountability partner and cheer you on. Tell me in the comments how you're going to show courage this week. And remember, if you're not subscribed to this channel, subscribe so you don't miss a Transition Tuesday. I thank you, friend, for watching. I appreciate you every week. I will see you next Transition Tuesday. Until then, grace, boldness for your journey.